The United States of America is also known as the only superpower of the world. United States of America is famous for its politics, and it is generally said that presidents of USA are the most powerful people of the world, and with great power comes great controversy. Some of the U.S. president had been involved in such hideous controversies that put up a question mark on their career. 10. President Barack Obama. Barack Obama is the 44th President of United States of America, and he is also the first black President of America. He is serving office from January 2009 till the date. Controversy: spying on people's personal lives. He is involved in a controversy with a former NSA contractor. Edward Snowden released the documents to the public detailing Obama's administration secretly spying on American citizens who seemed to be suspicious terrorists. The program is called the PRISM. It is believed that PRISM is using 9 tech company servers to gather information about their daily life, ranging from their videos to email to their phone calls. 9. President Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton was the 42nd President of United States of America. Bill Clinton served the office from January 20, 1993 to January 23, 2001. Controversy: scandalous relationship with Monica and his policy for LGBT. Bill Clinton was associated with many controversies. During his presidential term he was involved in the Don't Ask Don't Tell policy, which was a compromise for the LGBT society in United States. It allowed gays and lesbians to join the army, but he barred them to open about their sexual orientation. Bill Clinton was also involved in a controversy for his scandal with Monica Lewinsky. Monica Lewinsky claimed to have an affair with Bill Clinton, but Bill Clinton never admitted the same until now. This remains controversy of his life, whether true or not. 8. President George W. Bush. President George W. Bush was the 43rd President of United States. He served the office from January 20, 2001 to January 20, 2009. Controversy: tension in relationship of U.S. and rest of the world. He is said to be the one of the most controversial president in the history of United States. In his time period, President Bush ordered numerous cases of mass destruction and invasion on other countries. After the attack of September 11, he ordered the invasion of Afghanistan in 2001 to overthrow the Taliban, and then he invaded Iraq in 2003. His administration was also involved with controversy over the technique used to deal with the terrorists. He also signed the Law of Patriot Act that reduced the restriction on the base law enforcement to gather information on suspected terrorists. 7. President Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln is said to be one of the best presidents of the United States of America. Abraham Lincoln was the 16th president. He served the office from March 4, 1861 to April 15, 1865. Abraham Lincoln was the first Republican president to be elected. Controversy: Civil War between North and South. During his tenure, Southern states excluded from the Union and found their own confederacy. In 1861 the war broke out between two parties and ended in 1865 with over 1 million casualties. He was assassinated shortly after his second tenure started. 6. President Herbert Hoover. Herbert Hoover was the 31st President of United States of America. He served the office from March 14, 1929 to March 4, 1933. Controversy: cause of Great Depression. He was believed to be the main cause of worst economic downfall of the American history, that is the Great Depression. The stock market collapsed on 20th of October. He refused to allow direct government intervention and spending, fearing it could be a step towards socialism. He also insisted businesses to keep wages to overcome the Great Depression, which directly resulted in mass unemployment rate. During his time, the rate of unemployment was on the peak of all time in the history of United States. 5. Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson was the 7th President of United States. He served the office from March 4, 1829 to March 4, 1837. Controversy: differences with vice presidents. Andrew Jackson was involved in a quarrel with his vice president John C. Calhoun over the American System Economics plans. The plan was to impose high tariff rates on imported products to protect American companies, but Calhoun was against the thinking of Jackson and he wanted that states should have the ability to reject any federal plan if they see it as unconstitutional. As a result, Jackson had differences with his vice president and ordered to protect the Union believed that if states are given such privileges then it might divide the country apart. Jackson was also involved in a controversy of Indian Removal Act. According to the act, the relocation of 45,000 Indian tribe members from east of the Mississippi to the west. This act was an inhumane case of presidential dictatorship. 4. Andrew Johnson. Andrew Johnson was the 17th President of United States of America. He served the office from April 15, 1865 to March 4, 1896. Controversy: continuous quarrel with Secretary of War. Andrew Johnson was involved in a controversy for his constant quarrel with Secretary of War Edwin Stanton. Stanton was against him and didn't approve Johnson's systems on Southern policy after Civil War. To get rid of Stanton, Johnson suspended him, but the Senate disapproved his action, saying the president violated the tenure of office, and Johnson stepped down voluntarily. 3. Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson was the 3rd President of United States of America. He served the office from March 4, 1801 to March 4, 1809. Controversy: slave ownership. Thomas Jefferson was involved in a first draft of Declaration of Independence and denounced Britain's involvement in the international trade market. Even though Thomas Jefferson was against slavery, but he himself was a slave owner. Jefferson had slaves on his plantation farms, but he claimed that he treated them better than any of the slave owners in the states. He said that he was giving them more freedom. But he was involved in whiplashing of the slaves. 2. Lyndon Johnson. Lyndon Johnson was the 35th President of United States. He served the office from November 22, 1963 to January 20, 1969. Controversy: involvement and planning for Vietnam War. 2 months after Andrew Johnson stepped down from the office, the New York Times released the Pentagon Papers. These papers were study about United States involvement in Vietnam. They revealed that Johnson, along with the previous presidents, had underlying motives for the war. They also explained that he had a motive to expand the war. Johnson denied and said they were not seeking any expansion of war. 1. Richard Nixon. Richard Nixon is the 27th President. He served the office from January 20, 1969 to August 9, 1974. Nixon is only president in the history of the United States that had resigned for his job in the middle of a tenure. Controversy: Watergate scandal. The reason for the resignation was the famous Watergate scandal in June of 1972. 5 men were caught breaking into Watergate complex in Washington, D.C. It was found that they were trying to plant listening devices in the office. Nixon denied the accusations that the men were involved with him. It later became known that Nixon was the one who ordered his men to plant listening devices to spy on the people of the administration who seemed to be suspicious. During court hearing, it was also discovered that he was also involved in taping the conversations held in Oval Office. On August 9, 1974, Nixon broadcasted his resignation speech to the public.